Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Jackson. I'm the Director of Curriculum here at Top Score Writing. All right, so I apologize in advance. I have a cold, so I've been not feeling too well, so my voice is going in and out. So if something doesn't make sense or I start coughing, I will mute myself. But overall, I hope we're good to go here. So welcome to our April monthly meeting for Top Score Writing. Congratulations to probably most of you. Most states have already done their writing assessment. So congratulations to you guys if you guys have completed that. Some states right now are still getting ready. They're testing the first week or two in May. So if you are in one of those states, continue to kind of do a boot camp preparation time right now, where you're reviewing those skills and going back and reteaching some of those skills that your students need remediation and or extra review in. And check out section 5. Keep in mind that section 5 is a lot of test prep. So there's a lot of activities to get your students prepped for that state assessment if that is you and you're still preparing your students for that state assessment coming up. So our April monthly meeting. Our agenda. So what should we be focusing on right now? We're going to talk about second grade writing goals, third grade writing goals, the May pacing guide, as well as free resources. We're going to be talking about the 24-25 budgets and quotes. So a lot of schools right now are getting prepared for next school year. So we're going to kind of go over that and kind of explain some things. You can always contact me personally if you would like an overview of anything or if you would like some clarification on our resources. So please feel free to contact me. My email is Katie, Katie, at topscorewriting.com. We're also going to talk about sample curriculum and state pages, as well as have a moment for questions. You can always put your questions in the Q&A box and I will answer those at the end. So our second grade writing goals. For purpose, instruction, and structure, we're going to focus on analyzing a prompt to determine purpose and audience, 3 to 5 clearly indented and focused paragraphs, and clear and complete topic sentences. So those are kind of your goals for the end of the school year. You really want to be focusing on prompts. Those 3 to 5, usually if it's a lower class, 3 great paragraphs that are indented is a great goal to have. If you have an advanced class, they taught gifted for many years. If you can do 5 paragraphs in second grade, that's fantastic. But 3 is more of reality for second grade. 3 great paragraphs that are indented. And then clear and complete topic sentences. Remember, topic sentence has to have that transition. It has to state what the prompt is asking and then their reason or their topic from their plan. For support, we want to be talking about and focusing on multi-sentence middle paragraphs, details, providing details if they can use some sort of evidence, and then examples. So these are the main things, the main goals that you want to be focusing on at this time of the year, at the end of the school year, so that your second grade students, when they're going into third grade, have this kind of mastered. You can use box paper to build an essay one skill at a time. The box paper is in our curriculum. If you don't know what that is, please contact me. Like I said, Katie at topscorewriting.com, and I will get you the box paper. I always say second, third grade, use the box paper. Once you start getting into fourth and fifth, some of those kids, they're a little bit too smart and they start to fill up that box with 1 or 2 sentences. They start writing real big and they really don't really focus on those components of an essay. They rather just fill up the box. So second and third grade, use the box paper. Fourth, fifth, I would stay more so away from the box paper and have them be writing on regular line paper. Third grade writing goals. So for purpose and structure, focusing on writing for a variety of purposes. 5 clearly indented and focused paragraphs, descriptive introductions and conclusions. So really making sure that those students have mastered that because for fourth grade, they're going to need it. Your fourth grade teachers, if you're a third grade teacher, your fourth grade teachers will thank you so much if those students have that because they're not going to be really teaching those things in fourth grade. They're really going to be focusing on those harder skills like elaborative techniques, quoting, paraphrasing, own thoughts and ideas, narrative elaboration, all of those things that take a little bit longer. So for purpose and structure for third grade, focus on the writing for a variety of purposes, 5 indented paragraphs, descriptive introductions and conclusions. For support, A and B subtopics. We should have details for our A's and our B's, right? Always 3 to 4 sentences for A and 3 to 4 sentences for B. Text-based evidence and referencing. When we're talking about referencing, we're talking about citations. Remember, with citations, they can use the author, the title, page and paragraph number, or they can use the source number. Sorry, it took me a second. So make sure that referencing citation, they have an understanding of that before they move into 4th grade. Yes, like I said before, 3rd grade, use box paper to build an essay one skill at a time. So for May pacing guide, grades 2 and 3, you're doing sections 2 and 3, text-based informative expository and opinion. Or if you've already gone through that, you may want to check out section 4 for 2nd grade and section 5 for 3rd grade, which is narrative. Make sure that your students have already completed section 1 and they've mastered those basic foundations. So at this end of the year time, you're either continuing on with text-based writing or you're going into narrative. Sometimes 3rd grade teachers tell me, they've done so much text-based that they go into narrative, even if they haven't fully mastered everything, because their students just need something different, which is totally fine. I was a 4th grade teacher. I always did the last 8 weeks of school narrative. Number one, my kids had just done text-based writing for months and they were sick of it. So narrative was a really great break for them. Also, most schools have not done their ELA reading state assessment. So the narrative writing goes hand in hand with ELA reading, plot, climax, characters. So all of that was great because it kind of helped with my reading ELA time. So for 4th and 5th grade, go into narrative. For grades 6 through 8, go into section 4 narrative as well. It's really fun. Kids love it. It's story writing. Obviously, it's something different than text-based writing. All right, 24-25 budget and quotes. Everybody right now is talking about their budget and what they kind of want to do for next year. So remember, we have our nationwide edition. We have our Florida edition. For nationwide, we have the writing lessons aligned with most states' writing standards. For Florida, our writing lessons are aligned with the Florida Best Standards and the Florida Best Writing Assessment. We are now pretty much I shouldn't say everybody, every state has pretty much somebody using top score writing. Either it was from this year or last year. So we are all in red now, and we've also grown internationally. So we do have lessons that are aligned to those writing standards and those writing state assessments. Now, standard alignment charts are available for most states. We also have state pages. Now, they're not for every single state. However, sooner or later, we're growing and growing, and we're getting those state pages available to you. So nationwide curriculum. You should be thinking about renewing your digital license. So if you want digital, you would have to renew it. Remember that your license from this school year, from the 24-25 school year, will be done on June 30th, 2025. So June 30th, your annual license, you will not be able to access anymore. So if you would like digital access for next year, you may have to renew that. Then you have your updated curriculum. So if you want to update your printed curriculum, please do so. We're always doing I shouldn't say major, but decent updates based upon standards. So if you bought last year, you're going to see some small updates, pretty much, not huge ones. But just keep that in mind. If you have curriculum that's 5 years old, you may want to update your curriculum. Also, keep in mind we have student consumables. Some people have no idea that we have these. So these are optional. However, they're very, very helpful. We have student passage books. So your passage books have all of the passages so that you do not have to copy all of the passages for your students. Your students literally can take them out of their desk. It's a spiral bound book, and they can use those passages all year long. Keep in mind, remember, you may be on lesson 30 and you may need a certain set of passages, and then it comes back up in lesson 65 that you need the same exact passages. So you have to keep those in a folder if you do not have this spiral bound book. I never had the consumables, but I know right now, between paper and ink and copying issues, that these spiral books may be super helpful to you. We also have student activity books. So all of the activities for all of the lessons are in one book, one area. So you're no longer having to either find them, or copy them for your kids. So just keep that in mind. There is an option to purchase student consumables. All right, Florida edition. So we have our Florida edition print curriculum. We have our best assessment scoring, and we also have student consumables. So these are things that you may want to keep in mind for next school year. Purchasing options webinar. We do have a webinar of all of the purchasing options. I can either do it live for you and we can kind of go through it, overview, and you can ask questions. We also have it on a video, so it's recorded. So if you would like that, I can send that to you. But you have your printed options, our printed curriculum. We have our digital curriculum where you have all your stuff that is in print is in PDF form. We also have the PowerPoints, the teacher-led videos, the grammar lessons, the professional development training, all in our digital. And then we also have a price for a combo where you get both. So just keep in mind what you're doing for the next couple of weeks as you finish out your school year, as well as your budget and what you're planning on doing for next year. If you need to renew your licenses, if you need to update your curriculum, start planning. I've been working with teachers the past couple of weeks who are planning for next year, starting in August and September. Start thinking about what you're planning on doing. Also, kind of reflect on this year and what your students did well with, what your students needed extra practice with, so that next year you have those kind of things in the back of your mind so that you can plan according to those. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the question and answer box. If not, I wish you the best of luck through April. Our next meeting is in May, so that will be the last meeting for the school year. So have a great rest of your day, and if you have a question, please put it in the chat box. So this year, I see Paula, you had ESE and ELL classes. It was a struggle. Do you recommend the same curriculum? Kind of explain. Did you have digital? Did you have printed? What did you do? And I'll allow you to talk so you don't have to type this out. I will, here, hold on one second. There you go, Paula.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
I was a top score believer a few years ago,
Okay.
right in the middle of COVID. So my curriculum, I had to print it. I did the digital first, and then I purchased the printed material.
Okay.
And against my better judgment, because this was my first year with the ESE and the ELL ones and twos who first arrived. They very limited English. So I had the printed version. So listening to my team, doing what the district had me doing, which I knew in previous years when I used Top Score, I know what worked, but I didn't have that special class like I had this year. So
Yes.
I don't know if it was a struggle because I know the curriculum from Top Score. Like I said, I'm a believer. I'm sold. I've bought everything printed and I know what works.
Yep.
And I remember there was a previous, I want to say, webinar where, I might have needed to go a little slower, and I am going to update my curriculum. But next year, I'm going with what I know works, no matter what the level of the child.
And I always say too, with ELA and ELL and ESE students, modify as much as you can. So
Hmm.
for passages, if you're given 4 passages in a passage set, give them 1 or 2.
Hmm.
Um, Also modify the structure instead of 5 paragraphs, maybe 3 paragraphs to start with.
Yes.
Instead of 8 to 10 sentences, 5 sentences for those body paragraphs. So
Hmm.
that they're still getting the structure, but it's less overwhelming for them.
Yes.
Also, I was working with a teacher in Miami who had a lot of ELL students in her classroom. And what
Hmm.
she was doing, and these were kids that didn't have any English at all. So it was really difficult to teach them not only the format and the skills, but to like even say anything and talk to them in English. So what
That
she
was me
did,
as well. Yeah, that was me too.
it was difficult, and I watched her do this, and it was really actually amazing. And I don't know, some people I've told this to, and they're like, I'm not allowed to do that based upon my administration. But this teacher, she had her students writing in Spanish in their native language. So they wrote the introduction in Spanish, and then she
Hmm.
would sit down with them, and she literally would take their paper and take her own paper, and she would translate it in English. So she was Spanish speaking, so she was able to translate it in English so that the student could see next side by side a box where they had the introduction paragraph in Spanish and the box of the same introduction paragraph in English. And she literally pointed word to word on what each word was. So I don't know if that was helpful. And some people are like, I'm not allowed to do that because we're not allowed to be speaking in their native language, but it's,
Hmm.
you got to do a little bit of it. At some point,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know where else you can, what else you can do as far as to get that skill across. But
Hmm.
students were understanding, they were starting to understand, number one, the skill and the English words, because she took the time to translate those two things side by side so they could see it. So I
Yes.
don't know if that's helpful, even if you would take a portion like just the intro, which is 3 sentences, and do that if you're able to do that, or have somebody do that for you that translates to show that, was really really helpful to them.
Okay. Because I did do that, and sadly they have to take the same test,
Yeah.
and but they have to show some growth. And like I said, it worked for some and everything. Like I said, it was a struggle because me trying to figure out where do I jump in with them. So by the time I got them going, the test was almost here. With,
Yes.
so they did see a format, and for them, instead of having 3 reasons, if you can't think of 3, give me 2 good ones. If you can't think of 2, give me
Absolutely.
1 good one, and it better be great.
Absolutely. Yep.
So,
And if you have to make it just the introduction with those, 3 sentences, one good body paragraph with one reason, and then a
mhm,
conclusion, that's going to show growth for those kids.
yes,
Obviously, and they're going to get some points for it. It's better than doing nothing, right? So I feel like a lot of students, and it doesn't matter if they're ESE or ELL, all students that are struggling writers typically are just overwhelmed by the fact of writing a 5 paragraph essay. The
yeah,
minute you start to make it smaller for them or just take it piece by piece, it's a lot less overwhelming and they're more willing to try. But
yes.
contact me if you have any other, like, try it and keep going with it. But like I said, modify as much as you can to the smallest amount and then grow from there.
Okay, because we did the one thing that they definitely remembered, and I remembered, hey, we get to the last few minutes, you better write that conclusion. It's better to have
Yep.
3 parts than 2 parts and it's incomplete. So they got that part. So I
Good.
will be updating and everything else. And I'm told we may get that class, I struggled the whole year, and they're like, oh, you were great. We're gonna put you back in again. I'm like, I struggled. I struggled. I guess I struggled well. So they're gonna make
You
me
did
struggle
obviously
again.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
keep
okay.
going, keep trying. And like I said, contact us anytime if you need any extra. But I think what you're doing, and it will sooner or later click. It's just, it's going to take a lot longer time period. And like I said, modify, modify, modify.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. I don't see any more questions. I wish you guys the best rest of your day. Contact me if you have anything that comes up. Like I said, Katie, Katie at topscorerating.com. Have a great day.